Welcome to Lighten Up Talk Radio with Michael Lott,
Lee Snyder,
and Michael Braswell.
Join us with topics that wake up the connection to the real you. You can listen to us at lightenuptalkradio.com. Hello, everybody. It is Sunday, February 3rd, and welcome to another episode of Lighten Up Talk Radio. We are broadcasting, actually recording, in McCaysville, Georgia, at the Delphi University and Spiritual Center. So you can see the sound is a little echoey, but we're going to have fun with it today. Hello, Michael. Hello, Lee.
Hello, Michael.
Hello, Michael.
Well, it has been a fabulous day here. We left Knoxville early this morning to come up here and come to the Church of Wisdom service. You can find this online, I believe, at delphiuniversity.com, or you can just do a Google search for Delphi University and Spiritual Center, and it'll come right up.
Is that DELPHI?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And check it out. It's just a beautiful, beautiful place here. You can see the mountains from all the way around, and we're in this beautiful Temple of Wisdom recording the show. So I just have to say, this week has been just filled with synchronicities. And coming into this Church of Wisdom today and listening to the beautiful service and talks from several folks here at Delphi brought back many things that I know, Lee, you and I had a conversation yesterday, and I know the three of us were at dinner the other night, and we've all been getting and feeling in different ways the importance of, which I think is an important, really powerful thing to talk about today because it was brought up in the service here, how now is the time to no longer be on your own journey. It's time to be with other people, and it's time to go out into the world and share and not be, there's times to go and be alone and connect with yourself, but a lot of the work is going to be amplified and blessed, and just you're going to experience more love by doing it with others and sharing in it. So,
I know at times, we've all been in our own caves. I call it our little
Yes.
caves. And, I like getting out, I say, probably more than you two guys do. As far as I've always been that type of person to want to at least go in there and one time to be able to go there and to see, how I feel about it. But, in the 2012 energy, it was the shedding year, and we've talked about that on numerous times, but I really had no idea of how the 2013 energy was just going to absolutely come in the way that it did. Mm-hmm. It has been, I think, a real surprise to a lot of the people of what their feelings really are as far as expressing themselves and to get out. And so some people could be in their old mode of not wanting to be around other people, when in reality this energy is totally encouraging to get out with other people. And I think it's a great thing now. And I think you have to push yourself. Even, at times if you don't want to do it, you still have to push your way through it. I mean, just like today, we've gone through a blizzard.
Really have.
We really have. We left Knoxville, and before we got out of Knoxville, we just went through a blizzard. And there was no type of saying we need to turn around or go back or any of this. We pushed through it, and I can put it with that type of parallel. Pushed through it, came on, and now we're sitting in this beautiful, beautiful temple, and the sun is shining, it's coming through, and it's gorgeous. So that's a prime example of just that type of thinking, because I've heard a lot of people say, I don't want to get out because it's cold. I don't want to get out because it's raining,
Sure.
And it's one thing if your vehicle does not take you there safely, but it's another thing when you just have every excuse to not really get out and be with other people.
So I have a train of thought that I'd like to ask each one of you what it means, what sacred intimacy means, and I'll maybe start kind of because I've been on a very intense journey the last couple of years of working on my own ability to get intimate with myself, my own ability to listen to the inner landscape of my feelings and emotions, and see where I block myself from receiving and giving back to others. And so I've been to classes and workshops and, all kinds of things or I just laid myself out in front of people to try to help. And it's been an amazing journey to do that. And also being willing with my friends. I'll have to say I tend to be the type that has my close friends that I have are like my soul family. And I like to be transparent. I don't like to hide anything. I just like to be myself and just totally, express when I have something on my heart. I have to express it. And that has been a big journey for me because ever since I was a child, I always have felt this way. But when I was a child, I didn't feel like I could. It was locked. It was like if I could have put a lock over that part of myself, really until I got into my 30s, did I have the key to unlock it. Did I really understand that I had the key to unlock that and that I had to do it and had to put myself and go forward into all kinds of different situations. And every single one of them has been uncomfortable. None of it's been easy. And it's just not. And there's, I feel like I've just started, to be honest with it, but understanding that in order to be sacred intimacy to me means that all connections with all things are sacred. And that finding that authentic place to be and express what is at the core within any given experience, and also be able to hold space for others to do the same. I really feel like it's the expression of divine love. It's like holding space for divinity. So this energy right now, I really feel, and coming into 2013, is really bringing us all into stepping up against a deeper level of what it feels like to be intimate with ourselves and others, with the core of our heart, and being vulnerable enough to open up to express the things that need to get expressed. Because if we don't express what's really on our heart on some level, because there's no right or wrong way, but as I've learned in my life, I become locked up. I lock myself in a pattern if I don't express whatever the truth is. If I have a truth that I keep repeating something over and over about someone, some comment of, oh, they're not open enough to really understand where I'm coming from, which I've done many times in my life, I'm the one that shuts it down. And what I've been having to learn is that I have to step through the vulnerability space of going, maybe all I have to express is the way I feel. And learning that sometimes that's all I can express. And by expressing it, not only do I release the burden within myself, but I give someone else the opportunity to understand me better. And I'm learning that when I do that, when I come from the feeling place instead of the head place, when I say how I feel instead of what I think, and just say, I feel this, it gives them an opportunity to respond from that place as well. And so anyway, I've been thinking about this nonstop for a couple weeks because, as we've been talking about, these energies this year are so calling me to step out in new ways, and it's reminding me how important it is to do it. As we heard today in this lesson, and we've talked about this week even before coming here.
Right.
So I'm interested to hear, kind of your all's perspective on sacred intimacy and what that means to you.
The only thing that I would like to add to that is, I think everything that you said was totally totally factual and totally the truth and where we're at right now, being honest with each other. The one thing I'd like to add with that is, and I will speak for myself, I have the type of voice at times that can be a little loud. It can be a little, I try not to be obnoxious, unless I'm just joking with it. But, when you express yourself, and I'm going to be working on this myself this year very closely, because we've discussed this as well, that you speak it out of, your heart is love about it, but look at how the outward look of you looks when you're saying it. That's the other part of that. You can say anything to me, and if you've got the right look on your face, and if you don't have the darting eyes, and if you don't have the ego type of a voice of screaming at somebody, you know how that is. It's a totally different energy feel to it.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas when you keep yourself in your normal voice, and you can say whatever that you want to in your normal voice, and you look at a person, and you still have that loving look in your eyes with that person, and not glaring at them, and not throwing darts at them at that time, that is the other part of doing that. And that can be a very important part of that. Because I've had to work on that myself at times. Because, my energy can get up pretty fast. Yours can too, Michael.
Oh, yeah.
And it can fly pretty fast. So I'm really paying attention to when those times come up, that I can still talk in this type of voice of calmness and be able to constructively say what my feelings are. To whereas then it's a workable type situation, and everybody wants to work together on that. There's no hard feelings about it, because if you start creating that type of hard feeling with it, regardless of what you say that's out of love, regardless of how you go about doing it, it's totally washed out the window, because that person is shutting the thought pattern of that off in the very beginning, because it's how it's being presented. So there's a very important to that as well. And I think the energy that is going on right now has hyped a lot of people up. I've seen a real, I've seen very calm, monotone type people being totally hyped up with this. And it's kind of like that when they get started, it just gets louder and louder and louder. And people's pointing fingers or shooting in the air. I've heard this. I've heard this from a lot of other people other than just what we're talking about here. I have a friend that has her own shop, beauty salon, and we was talking about this, and she said in the past 2 weeks, these have been people that has been coming to her for years, and had just never had people that was looking in the mirror, and she, when she's doing their hair, and she said it was like darts shooting out at her. She says, whereas, they would say, well, you're just not cutting my hair, like this. This side's not equal to that side. And she said it's the tone of voice. Whereas before, it would be, you need to look at this, because maybe my eyes are not right, or this, but, push it down and see what it looks like to see if it's even. So I think it's very important for us to understand that we're still in our heart. We're speaking from our heart out of love. So when we speak out of heart, out of love, we speak out of our love in our whole body. It's the whole body, and it's the gesture of the whole body. And I think it's a very important thing to think about. And I have really,
Totally.
after our conversation, it came to me that I'm going to be much kinder when I have to, feel like that I need to say something to somebody. I'm going to be kinder about it. I'm not going to raise the voice. I'm going to say I love, and this is what I am committing. I love you, but I just need to say this to you because this is the way I feel. Now, how much better can that sound? I got chills on me, so that's a godly thing for me. But how much better can that be? Because that's when a person will take it to heart, know that you just say out of your heart what you feel, And it is a two-way street then, not a one-way street. It's a two-way street. Because after you once hurt somebody's feelings, or after you once go at them and just like it's pointing fingers and all this type of thing, what do? You've lost exactly what you are trying to do, which is express yourself in love. So not only has that person lost out, but you've lost out too. Because what happens with that, you're sitting around for, and this is the way that I do. I'll sit around, I'll think about it, and then I might be sitting there mulling over how I addressed a topic for a whole day feeling bad about me, when in reality I need to be spending that day being my spiritual self to be able to talk about the love I have, not bashing myself in the head, because when you start bashing your own self, that just throws you back further. So you've accomplished nothing.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I've gone through that cycle a bunch of times, but I did want to throw this out there because as someone who was very much locked up on the ability to express on the fundamental emotional levels like that, there was a process that I had to go through of where, especially with people that I was around a long time, where there was so much anger that had been built up because of not expressing it. It was like a rusty, I felt like a rusty old wrench or something like that. I don't even know what word to use. And it was just like, I had to oil it with love. But for a while, with some of the people that I was close to that I didn't feel able to speak, I had to let them have it. I had to go through those processes of just letting them have it, then going back through what you said and experiencing, oh wait, that was too much. Then going to apologize, and then and going through a cycle of that back and forth until it worked through my system enough to go, oh wow, it's working, and I get it. The flow of energy is working through me now, and I get it, and it feels so good. And I think a lot of people out there are in that place.
Exactly.
There's different parts that are locked up, and they need to oil it with love, as you were talking about the love part.
Love overcomes everything. There's nothing that love does not overcome. And when you present yourself with total love to a stranger, to a family member, to friends, or whomever, to animals, whatever that it is, it just works. Mm-hmm. And you walk away from it feeling so great about it. Gosh, God, how the love that I've got in me. Because the love that you have so into you can so spread to that other person without saying a word. Without a word. And and I had to work on this a lot with a corporate job that I had. Because I had to go in a lot of times and reprimand people for things that really they was not doing correctly as far as company policies and that type of thing. And what I did, I sat myself down in front of a mirror and I had a conversation. Like I was on one side and I was saying this, but I was also looking in the mirror to what type of expression that I had on my face. And to tone it down and to be able to look at that person to where it was constructive, to where I was just not knocking them out at the knees to where they felt bad. Because sometimes it's just that people don't even understand they're doing it. Mm-mm. And when you got old patterns sitting there, like you were talking about, when you have the old patterns sitting there, it's very easy to say, I'm going to release it. But it's also, 2 days later, the same situation comes up, and all of a sudden it's rearing its head up again. It's rearing its head up again. And so that is also this energy of knowing that you might be saying this once or twice or three times, particularly family members, because that's just what I've pretty well gone through with that as well. Mm-hmm. But if you keep saying it in the manner of love, they're going to get it. They are going to get it. And it's going to be a totally different comeback. And I really went through this with my mother. I have really worked on that. And instead of saying, gosh, I got to got to go do this, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm actually saying I am so happy that I'm getting in this car because I cannot wait to see her face because I am so blessed that she's still here. It just switches you. It just
so
switches
does.
you.
You know what I turned on the TV last night, and I like to cook, and I love the cooking shows, and I get a lot of inspiration by watching them and stuff. And there's a show, and I think it's got this British guy that is really intense. You know what I'm talking about,
big
Michael?
guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Total muscle guy. And he goes in and, help restaurants that are failing.
Yeah.
He redoes it. And it's really synchronistic that I watched the show last night because there was this family that was on, very emotional family, and their restaurant was failing. And did you see this one?
I saw part of it.
Part
yes,
of
I
it?
did.
Interesting. So they had gotten so much of a disconnect of this intimate communication that we're talking about, and disgusted with one another, that all they had really to share was anger and explosions back and forth, and it drove everybody into the place. And so he went in there and literally did coaching with them and cracked each one of them open, to find something good about each one. And man, they all just, everybody teared up and burst, blah, 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 and cried and went through the healing process. And it was fun to see that last night now, because I think everybody has something like that in their life. It may not be that raw, but in some way there's something.
People are not perfect. We weren't put here to be perfect. We were put here to learn lessons. and you have to honor. We're not all alike. Mm-hmm. So we honor what the greatness is that you see in a person. You honor that because we all have greatness and we all have things that's not so great, and that's things that we work on.
And that was the healing in the show. They all came at the end and honored one another and took on their own unique gifts and talents to bring into the restaurant instead of judging and criticizing and rah, 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 rah.
Because that really does nothing. It does nothing but creates hard feelings to where, it's very difficult to work with people when it's that way. What do you think about this, Michael?
I'm thinking that the energy in this place is so awesome. It's hard. I don't see how y'all are talking so easily. It's almost overwhelming to me. But y'all, you've cited examples with you and your mother. You with a totally separate situation with a TV show, with a real TV show. So this is saying right away that this is an issue all over the world. And the ego, we talk about the ego so much. When you start screaming at someone, and when you don't agree with someone, you call them names, you lose that composure. What you're doing, the ego is bringing in the illusion of anger to you, and it's causing you to do something so that you will not stay in that spiritual place, because ego, as we know, fears spirituality. This year is the year to, with everything that we've said, this is a year to, simply put, it's the year to get in touch with the oneness that everyone is. The oneness of you, and when you get into the oneness of you, you're getting into the oneness of everyone else. Mm-hmm. So working on yourself, actually, this year is like working on everyone else. When you, how to say this? Through 2012, we were self-centered in that we cared more about what happened to us than other people. We were releasing stuff. And when you release stuff, your awareness is here on you. So your attention is not on anyone else. So there was a lot of disconnections, a lot of separation going on through 2012. That has changed now. And what's happening is the energies coming in are all geared toward ultimately getting you in touch with the oneness, getting you to feel the love you have for everyone else, feel the love they have for you, and also to know that they're no different than you. ultimately you should, when you look at a person, you should, in your mind, be aware that you're talking to yourself. You're not talking to another person. You're talking to a part of the oneness, which is you. You're talking to you. You're talking to you when you talk to the grocery man, when you talk to your mother, when you see someone on TV. And sports game, perfect example. When the player does something you don't like, if you yell at him, telling him how stupid it is, you're telling yourself how stupid you are. So that would be a tool I would suggest everyone uses this year. Whenever you communicate, talk, interface with any other person, even animals, realize you're talking to yourself. Any harm you do to them, you're doing to yourself. 1,000 times more than that other organic vessel feels. But their spiritual self feels it, and being part of the one, you feel it immediately. Mm-hmm. Now, I had another thought, and this place has just totally erased my mind, so that when this program started, I started with a total clean slate. And I got really excited earlier in the program here in the center. They brought in the Sacred Mother energy, the love energy, and a message, be open for a message that you got. And I got a message about healing. That's what got me on my spiritual path, was hypnosis, Reiki, energetic spiritual healing. And I realized the message was telling me that I'd been doing healing wrong all these years. As much as I thought I'd been really helping people, and I had, because Spirit was working through me, but I was filtering a lot of what Spirit could have done. And the reason is, I was aware of me working with one person. Not me. I was working with another person, one-on-one, in most of those situations. The proper way to heal is to, when you work with someone, connect to the oneness. When you connect to the oneness and you're working with someone and helping them self-heal, all healing is self-healing, you bring on the power of the oneness. There's only one heart. It just rests in all of our chests. It fits in a lot of different chests. There's only one love. We all have that same love. We're all made of it. Everything is made of it. When God makes something, it's made of love. So everything in existence has love in it. That chair, this table.
Everything.
Everything. And if you are a healer, or if you are around people that you try to help through counseling or talking or giving an example, while you're doing that, or before you do it, go to a quiet place in your mind and connect to the oneness. Thank God for letting you feel the power of that oneness. It far exceeds anything you got, because you're not using the oneness. You're using that small segment of the oneness that you feel. So you're filtering down all of that magnificent power you could have had you connected with the oneness, with everything. And thank the oneness for coming in and working through you when you're working with that person. That's the power, I think, of real healing.
I'm glad you brought that up, because today, I agree, in this holy place that we're in today, with all the holy people that were in this room with us today, it was just amazing to me. And when the person was talking about the oneness and getting into the one, I shifted in a different spot.
Yep.
There was a shift. I felt my heart just totally shift. And it needed to be said exactly the way that they said it. Today was a huge teaching for all that was here, because we get so into us, and God is it all. God's it all. So when we get into us, it's ego-driven. When you shed that, and when you go in, before you speak, or before you go to heal somebody, or before you go to a class, or before you do a service, I can assure you that the 3 people that we saw in here today had been with the oneness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could feel
I
it.
felt nothing within these 3 people that was anything but that. It wasn't around them.
No,
It wasn't around anything. It was around the oneness of all of us here. And what an exercise that was. For us to be able to go to 3 people and say nothing. And to look in the eyes of those people. And be in your oneness. And to be able to not have to say one word. Except look in the eyes, because it was the eyes of God.
Can I clarify? Because I don't know if everyone who listening may understand what happened in the part of the service at the end was the opportunity to go to one of your neighbors and hold hands and look each other in the eye and stay in that intimate space until you could see God in them and you felt both. So that's what you were talking about.
Exactly.
I just wanted to say that.
That's my definition of spiritual intimacy. You saw an example of it doing that. Mm-hmm. You're being intimate at the highest level, because you're looking into their eyes, the eyes of the soul. And what you see when you go and look into their eyes and you see their soul, you see you. You see the oneness. So in my definition, I'll throw out for spiritual intimacy is being able to see yourself in other people and feel that you're all the same, all one. That's just what I feel.
Beautiful. I love it. I love all the perspectives. It's like just looking through a slightly different lens,
Yep,
and it's just beautiful.
See, the oneness, just like the heart rests in the one heart rests in everybody's chest. Mm-hmm. The one looks through everybody's eyes, but it's still the same oneness looking through all those eyes. So just the same as the heart rests in all those chests, the one heart, the one power is able to look through all those eyes at the same time. So the oneness was an excellent message today. We're all that. There should be no feeling separation. When you feel that you're separate, that you're an individual, you've walked off, you've lost it for that moment. Because you, as an individual, that's a human term. It's used by human beings to control you. Because they know, and they, just whoever you want they to be, they know that individually that you can be controlled. As one, you cannot.
And do you know where that takes me to is something else that was said today, was that each one of those experiences that you're talking about, and that each time we have an opportunity to greet somebody, we have a choice in that scenario to step through it, step through the discomfort, step through, or walk away, and then walk away from going that much deeper within self, or seeing yourself in that person. And every situation that we have is what was said today is to say yes to it, to be open to say yes, to greet each one of those. So I'd like to throw that out there from what we heard today, of saying yes to each one of those opportunities that greets you in life. And yes, they might be humanly uncomfortable, but as Michael, you were talking about the oneness, when you realize that you're just dealing with the oneness, isn't it worth taking that step to, it's like cleansing our filter, our human filter, so that we can reconnect with the oneness in that way, and each person and each experience that we have can reconnect us with the oneness and feeling. So I just think that's beautiful.
When you do, when you say yes, and as he said, when you say yes to any choice in any situation, And you're saying yes not only to your physical intervention or interaction in that, but you're saying yes to your spiritual, your heart. If you're going to say yes to any, that's what he was saying, if you're going to say yes to any situation or choice, say yes totally. Be in it totally. And that word yes, when you commit to that, to me is saying, yes, I am. Because when you connect to that other person physically, emotionally, and spiritually, you're actually, again, saying yes to, we're one. You are one. You're with me. You are me. I'm you. Therefore, you are worth my total participation because I'm totally participating with me. Even though you're a human being in a different body than me, I'm still the one with you. It all comes back to one. It all. Any situation you come to comes back to the oneness.
Because everybody's had different backgrounds. And those glandulars are sitting there within your body of what you've been through as a small child. And there has been, I would say, everybody has had their ups and downs in life. But when you can just go back and just let it dissolve and just find love and find the oneness that everything that you went through was because you were supposed to, because there was lessons there to learn. Some of the strongest lessons that I have learned in my lifetime has been from people that at that point in time I thought was doing very much harm to me. And when I came out of it and got into the all is one with God and love, I now know that those people have been the best teachers in my life. And I'm where I'm at today, sitting in this temple with two absolutely extraordinary men. And I'm here because of that. And it all came because we came together. This is a God thing. This is a God thing. And I never lose that within my heart about it. Wherever I'm at, it's because God's put me here. Not because I've put me here, but because God's put me here. And there was lessons to learn for me to get here. And for the rest of my life, I will give everything I have within me to the one. Because when I go and I do that, then it's for everybody. It's for everybody and everything.
Beautiful.
What can you say? You just have to let the energy of what you just said soak in. I mean.
And with that, that just about wraps us up for today. Brings us full circle.
Can I say one more thing?
Absolutely, go for it.
What they did today, going to other I don't want to say individuals because I'll say other vessels and looking into their eyes was awesome. But I would suggest that you do one other thing. And the wonderful woman at this table is the one that gave me this. When you get up in the morning or whenever you're in a bathroom around a mirror, stand in front of that mirror and look in your eyes. And if you do that enough and you look into other people's eyes enough, you're going to begin to discover there's no difference. There's no difference.
And I'm going to add one more thing on that. When you're in front of the mirror, one of the powerful things to do is say, I feel, and connect with really the feelings that are going on in that moment and be honest with it. One of the things that's really helped me and continues to help me break through the hold that the analytical part of me where I can get into the ego is to just say, I am scared. I am afraid. I am sad. I am this. Because on the human level, it's the truth. On the human level, it's the truth. It doesn't mean that that's the spiritual truth. There's different levels of truth. And I'm learning to honor each level of truth. And that each of those levels of truth also, it's just important. It's important to be whole in a human form is to honor all levels of truth. And there is the absolute truth, and that's the spiritual truth, as we've been talking about, the oneness. But then there's the human truth, and when the human truth leads you to the one truth.
Connect them. Whenever you say the words I think, always say I feel. After that, you might be in a situation where you need to finish that statement, I think, in the human, like you said. But then in your mind, say, what I thought, how does that make me feel? Because a lot of times you're going to find, that doesn't make me feel good at all, what I just said. Now, why did I say that? So you're connecting right there. You're actually forming a partnership between your ego and spirit. If you ever want to know how to work on your ego, that's one tool right there. I think equals I feel.
And then, like you said, then they can be in harmony instead of in discord, of fighting back and forth.
That's right. That's right.
So there's been a lot of wonderful tools today.
The feeling is that the oneness is that, and I will say this about the three of us sitting here at this table, that usually on Monday, sometime during the day, we'll touch base with each other. And I would say collectively, all three of us will say, I feel great today. I feel just really great today. And I wasn't feeling that great before I did the show, but I'm feeling great today. There's something to say about that. Because the voice of oneness is coming out of us to be able to share with whomever that is listening to us. And regardless of whether even you're listening to us, it's still going out to the universe. So it's within us to keep feeling the same way that we feel on Monday, to where we come back into the show on the weekend and we still feel the same. Because that's who we are. We're one.
I'd like to thank the folks that let us experience the energy of this awesome place here, and especially honored us with allowing us to do the program here. It's just sitting here doing this program, feeling this energy. You don't want to stop.
It's wonderful.
When I heard him say a while ago, that just about does it, I said, no, it doesn't.
Like I've been here 5 minutes.
Yeah. We've gone through a spiritual time warp in here.
Yes, we have.
Absolutely.
So we do thank you. You've honored us, and we love you for it. Thank you.
And I would encourage, please come here. Please come here and feel what we felt today. It's just a beautiful, wonderful place. And we encourage all that's listening here to come. And you can look at the schedule, as Michael had said before. Please come. It's been a very blessed day.
And I'll put this out there about this. They don't have Sunday services like every Sunday. It's the first, they have like a weekend events. And so they have a Friday healing night where you can go and be witnessing the healing energies. And then I think there's usually a talk on Saturday, and then they have
a channel on Saturdays.
Okay, is that what it is? And then on Sundays, the service here that we attended, and it kind of closes out the weekend. So
yes,
if you want to come down here, those weekends are a fantastic way to do it, and they have all kinds of classes going on.
Yeah, what was their website again?
Let's just say go onto your Google search engine and type Delphi University and Spiritual Center, and it will come up, because I think they have a couple of different website names to get in.
It's awesome.
Well, been a pleasure here sitting right above a beautiful crystal chamber in the Temple of Wisdom at Delphi University and Spiritual Center. Y'all have a super blessed week and lots of love.
Lots of love.
And when you see someone else, it's you.
How blessed.
So it is.
So it is.